there you go, folks. Welcome to the Radio FM88 Australia. It's a Wednesday morning. I just want to let you know, and because of time zones, our co-host Elisa's based in Florida. That's American East Coast time, and our guest today is all the way from Mexico. And it's good evening to you guys.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. It's a pleasure and an honor today to be with you, everybody who's watching and listening. And thank you for our guest, Adam Yellowbird DeArmon. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm super excited to hear your story. So without further ado, go ahead and tell us, what do you think your bio would be, your background, first of all, and then what amazing things that you're working on right now.
Yes. It's an honor. Thank you so much to all of you. This morning in Australia, over here, it's evening time in Mexico. Quite a blessing to be alive in this time. I want to start off in that sense, that each of us that have incarnated in this time, it's a real and true blessing to be here. No matter what we see out in the world, that may look like shadow or darkness, or at the darkest hour that it may look like that we're in, it's one of the greatest opportunities for us to be able to go deeper within inside and shine our most brilliant light. And so my journey has been all about that. It's been about the discovery of what it means to be a human being and what it means to become into in awareness in my consciousness, to be aware of my consciousness and the higher thought, vibration, frequency, and energies. And so a little bit about myself. I was raised on and born on the East Coast, Baltimore, Maryland. And at the age of 7 years old, I started transcendental meditation, which those are you familiar with that or maybe not familiar. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the Beatles were very much a part of that movement, and many others. My family was involved. So I started at a very young age building the transcendental skills within my mind, body, and spirit, and have still to this day carried those teachings and those the ancient knowledge that was transferred over from that. So and my whole life growing up too was about furthering the discovery of this world. As we're all born into this world, we want to know what's going on, where we came from, where we're going, the simple questions. And growing up in school at a young age, it was very difficult actually for me as a young man to be able to comprehend the educational system. You got to remember, by 7 years old, I had already started meditating, so I was already receiving that there was a higher consciousness and a lot more information that was being given to me than the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and no's and yes, and that the education system was delivering. And I just knew there was a higher path to life in itself. So I started at a very young age that way. Ended up as a teenager with the Lakota people, which are now my family since I've been a teenager. The Hunkpapa Lakota relatives from Standing Rock, South Dakota, and started training and working with them. They recognized my talents and gifts, and something that would then in return change my life forever, stepping into my own leadership roles. And they were very, very supportive, along with my family and close friends. So from the age of 19, I began the initiations and ceremonials. And from there, furthermore, took it into a leadership role at a very young age in my 20s. And from my 20s, I started traveling throughout the United States of America, and late 20s traveling throughout the Americas, North, South, Central America, and working my way to Europe and other countries. And the whole mission that I found myself involved in was in healing centers, building temples, sanctuaries, and being around conscious folks that wanted to better themselves and humanity, and help the Mother Earth. So I've dedicated my life to that efforts and to that work, and uniting folks from around the Americas and around the world, creating multiple organizations. I ran a not-for-profit for 10 years, Institute for Cultural Awareness. Later to open up the International Center of Spiritual and Ancestral Wisdom. And we started recuperating ancient and very old temple sites and sacred sites throughout the Americas, working with the indigenous peoples from the original homes and lands and regions and the original sites, where their information was given to them very specifically that each of their nations were to carry. So through that journey, I was recognized. You would ask, why is the name Yellowbird? I became like a messenger between and throughout the Americas to bring the messages from the ancestors, like a runner in a way. And so I started years and years ago, over 28 years ago, putting together international and national gatherings of the ancient wisdom keepers and prophecy holders, where we could have the meetings and share and exchange the ancient wisdom and the prophecies. Worked directly with the Mayans prior to the existing 2012 prophecy came, and putting several of these gatherings, and still to this date putting these gatherings together in these countries, and part of them were healing gatherings. And I traveled to Europe many times as we went over there, as you remember, for our healing medicine gatherings, where we offered our talents and gifts to the people. And I'm still doing that today. A lot of it's remote healing, in-person healing, along with the conferences and gatherings. And we're moving forward now with restoring the ancestral sites, the pyramids, restoring the antiquities, helping those locally and internationally in their regions to restore their homes, their traditions, their cultures. And it's just a true honor to be here. I'm in the Yucatan, Mexico now, working with the sacred sites, the pyramidal sites. We just came out of Chichen Itza. We'll be going back in that region tomorrow in the next few days, working on the archival projects with our elders that are in their late 80s, and some of them up to 100 and some years old. So it's
Wow.
very unique, very, very unique area, and it's a new region for me. I've worked all throughout Mexico, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight with each of you. I have so much to share. It's a cooperative. I really feel those that are listening, we each have a gift and a modality to share in our gifts. And I am a networker and such, and looking forward to see how we can inspire and encourage one another in these times that we're in. So I'm going to leave it at that. And
Wow. Well, so many questions, let me tell you. Well, where to start? So I've been activating ancient sites too. I get sent around, especially the Mayan areas is where I noticed they were sending me to activate and to bring in my energy. So I have so many questions in my mind, but let me start from the beginning. So you were saying that you started getting people together with gatherings and such. And so are these gatherings with just like the community of the Indigenous, or is it like an event or a conference where you put it out there and then people from all over the world come in?
Yes. So I start off personally working very deeply with each individual nation or communities or but not just indigenous people. My whole objective is government and people united. We have a huge conflict between government and people. So I start working on a personal level to be able to understand, sit, and listen to the individuals, to both governing bodies and the people's needs. So we'll call together a gathering of the communities. So we're looking for common unity within inside of the communities. Once we have a consensus of that process, then I will put a call out to invite international delegations or delegates, and we'll put together gatherings where people from all over the world can come, share their cultures, traditions, language, ceremonies, initiations. And much like the work that you do, is that we work on deeper levels of the internal activation of our own systems and our own governing bodies, along with the ancestral sites or the regions where we are having an event or conference or gathering.
Okay, so then the gatherings then are mostly the different nations, right? The indigenous nations coming together is what I'm hearing, right?
Most of the gatherings are having to do with indigenous nations, but for instance, when we go to Europe, and I've been there, I would be a participant in and or support national or international people coming to healing gatherings like we did in Europe and Germany, and we traveled all through the European countries and supporting those, I say, nations. And when I say indigenous, also for those that are listening, I don't mean just a color. I'm sharing indigenous, those that are caring for the land, those that are connected and tied to their cultures, traditions, intuitions, and tithings to their ancestral ways of life. So, to be very clear, sometimes we say, indigenous or native, it's native to those lands, or we say Native American, like myself, I was born in America. In the future, they would most likely look at me as a Native American. There, I know it's language, uh, you know, language differences here, but that's one of my perspectives in that matter. But the peoples of the land, those that really care for humanity and the Mother Earth, and that custodian and take care of their environment.
Okay, very good. Well, what I noticed during a trip that I took in the US, and we were going through the Navajo Nation and through I think Hopi. And what I noticed is that supposedly, they had given them lands, and what they gave them was just desert, and it was not, any great anything. So do you feel like that's going to change and shift, where we're going to really give them the respect that they should get for who they are, and the amazing human beings that they are, because they bring so much to our growth, I think, in coming back to the way that they used to do things, right? To respect the land and to have integrity in everything that we do.
Yes, exactly. That is at the forefront right now. There's a lot of awareness about the cultures. Let's say, I spent 26 years in Arizona around the Hopi, Dene, and all the tribes there in Arizona. There's many. I've been traveling throughout Arizona, and there's an awareness coming, of that, and we really need to work together, and then history. So I think where there's some blockages is that his story, it
Yep.
keeps being told over and over and over of what happened. Each of us carry the history of things that are done onto our own people. So it's our responsibility, and we share this in the councils and the meetings that I have with the Indigenous peoples and non-Indigenous peoples. When that trauma or PTSD or that effort and that works is dialogued and transformed and transmuted, we can be there to support one another, bring the greater awareness, and begin to custodian the Mother Earth and work together once again. So there is an awareness. We do have challenges in front of us, but we've been working very diligently of setting up systems for the trades and goods to bring back the benefits back to the Indigenous people, back to the common folk, back to the people of the lands, and through the displacements of Indigenous and non-Indigenous, but also the four races of Mother Earth. There's a necessity for us to be able to really recognize, honor, and listen and work together. So this consciousness is here now. This is, you see it all over. If you focus on the positive news and the information coming in instead of the nightmare pictures that were being fed and false information,
Yeah, the movie.
bringing confusion, I think journey to the inner heart, we will know the difference. And it really is a great opportunity in the midst of chaos to get really the job done what we came here to do, and each of us stepping up to the plate.
Wow, yes. So, I mean, to me, it sounds like what you're doing is it's so complex and so I'm trying to in my head like understand how you can possibly reach out to all these different tribe. I'm going to call them tribes, right? They're like you could call them tribes around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So, yeah, go
well,
ahead.
one of the things that we've been doing and they've been doing, the Indigenous peoples from all over the world, whether it's Africa or Europe, um, Native America, up north in Alaska, all the way to Chile, is they had what they call confederations, or they had these copulis, or these groups that were intact, that they were working together, and they did have their strifes or difficulties, but they had these middle grounds. And we've been working with teams of peoples, not speculating, but implementing. And so we're also using technology. So we're using the ancestral wisdom with the technology of today. That's what we're using here this evening. And our teams are being able to create a platform where we can start tracking this process. So if you can imagine someone like myself for years at a time traveling every 2 weeks to different locations, that's what I'm doing. In the last few years, I've been nonstop in different communities, once again in different countries, sharing and gathering this wisdom and knowledge. And part of a big piece of this is we need to understand history and bring forth what I call her story once again, to listen to the mother and be in collaboration. But there's a lot more. I'm helping direct um, many people right now from all over the world. We're working together and gathering this data and information nonstop in communication. But it's the ancient wisdom with technology of today. So that's how we're able to sort of expedite this or keep moving forward. And it's really exciting to do it and keep it in balance. We want to make sure that everything is in harmony and balance and prosperity for all.
Wow, that's beautiful. So how are you being supported to be able to be out there traveling every 2 weeks and putting this all together?
So I've had over the years, like I said, Institute for Cultural Awareness. I have the International Center of Spiritual and Ancestral Wisdom now. I put to rest my not-for-profit in that statute. I have other not-for-profits. I'm a part of their boards. And it's literally the people, whether it's $1, $20, $1,000. We have different budgets and things of that nature. So it's the people really helping us, individuals or organizations that are really helping because they believe in the projects. I'm about to launch in the next month or so, update all of my websites and information. That's why I'm here today with you all, which is a great honor, is because I'm ready to step out and share more information, more of the archives. But it's the people that have really been funding this. We've looked into, we used to have grants. We had, personal donors that have been helping us, but with the state of the world right now, a lot of the grants and fundings and government agencies have gone through and are still going through a great transition. So that's why I'm here today, to reach out to those that may be listening, because it is the people that are helping the people, and in return, that's what I want to give back to the people. And I'm literally boots on the ground every day, working directly with the peoples in the region.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Very good. So, so can you tell us what have you been able to find that is in the archives that maybe history was telling us wrong?
Here's an example. This is where is our societies and cultures. This is an observation that I've been watching in my research, in my line of work, in my personal experience. So what I've seen happen is that everyone knows about, December 21st, 2012, the Mayan calendar, and just like year 2000 came, and things of that instant, like we were shocked, and a lot of lectures, a lot of book writers came out. They never got to really hear the message from the Mayan themselves. And so, not that it wasn't a good thing, but there was a lot of, in our cultures and system, it's an observation, or always saying, well, we think they're doing this, or this is the time, rather than coming directly from the individuals or the peoples themselves. So what I've had to do, and what I do in my daily life, is go directly and sit with these individuals. And I just wanted to share that experience, because what it does is it creates a lot of confusion for people. Not that it's not good information, because there is pieces within side of the book writers and the documentaries and the movies that are out there, but it's not coming from the direct lineage. So what I found is that if we begin to listen, and one things that I've done personally in my life, and or go through those, if I want to learn about the Maya, I want to go through the initiations and be able to gather that information and knowledge internally by personal experience hand on, and allow them to advocate, and me be supportive of that original laws or those instructions coming from them. So they talked about, so I remember as a young man, as a teenager traveling, they talked about this time, and they talked about the confusion and the governments and money changing, and but not to be afraid. So the tools are there. And what I mean by the tools, that the peoples of Mother Earth, those that have been taking care of the Mother Earth, the tools are there to help us. Even it's down to a science to rebuild our humanity, reconstruct. That science is finding out now how we can fix, an organ, or maybe help people with dementia or different herbals. So what I found is that there's these living libraries, and they've been waiting for this time, for the right moments, to deliver these living libraries of their ancient wisdom and knowledge from the peoples of their origin. and there's very few of them left. We're like on this golden thread that is stretched so far, and it's so thin, the line's so thin, but we still have the opportunity to weave this great tapestry of unification. So what we've been doing is with them, the indigenous peoples on the grounds at, let's say here, where close to where I'm at in Chichen Itza region and Chiapas, in Palenque, in Guatemala, in Tikal, in Colombia, with the indigenous peoples down there, which furthermore I can share their names and all that later in a deeper conversation, but is gathering those historical antiquities, artifacts, and getting them returned. So mostly these pieces were scattered all throughout the world. It wasn't possible. They had to go out. It's like giving an orphan out, and you give it to, the organization that is to find a new home for it, and then that child never felt safe at home because it wasn't the house that he originated or she originated from. So what we're seeing is when that is implemented, when these antiquities, it's like grandmother's necklace had been taken and sold or pawned at an antique shop, and you return it to a family member, there's a healing that takes place of the ancestral memory or the ancestral wound or the trauma from losing grandma's necklace. So when that takes place, that simple act takes place, the returning, which part of this caused the return of the ancestors, which was a gathering I put together, a long schedule with the Mayan calendars, is we get back into time and order into the laws of origin. So we're helping assist. Like I work with national forests and archaeologists, and I never went to school for any of this. But now we're educating these archaeologists and the people with the petroglyphs, and we're bringing back the original instructions that the peoples have held and listening to that wisdom. So one of the tools that we're doing is we're creating an archival living library with this information, and it's going to take some more time, and we're open for collaboration. So when we return back these antiquities, there's a life renewed. um, and then with those instructions, I've seen it with my own eyes, where a river is no longer a river and there's no longer fish, completely barren lands from hundreds of years ago where devastation has occurred and trauma and war and fathom, to turn around within 1 year and a half, a rejuvenated city and the peoples once again living with the rivers flowing again that you can drink and fish and jaguars walking the land again. And that is through a very specific process and internal order that occurs in one's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what it is too is that in order for these um, living libraries to come through and for all these antiquities to really come to life and to be part of our purview now, right, to come up, is that the collective vibration of the earth is rising. And so all these, our knowledge, our true history is gonna come forth so that we know really who we are and where we come from. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, it's so beautiful to seeing it in action, physically in action, right? Because usually I see it more with the seas like going down and all of a sudden something comes up out of the ocean, or like that. I've never seen it where it's specifically done by a human being or human beings on purpose. So that's really awesome to see the work that you're doing, and it feels like it's so massive and so big. But It makes sense that you've started since you were young. Like you had to come in without all this fake information that that was being put into children, right? So
Correct.
that's just beautiful. I love it. I love it.
And that came a lot from transcendental consciousness or meditation,
Meditation.
healing modalities, learning about my own consciousness, body, mind, and spirit, and my connectedness to nature was very key. And it's really one of nature herself is one of the greatest guides for me when human beings, man or woman, I can't comprehend fully in their divine expression at their most highest. I will go have dialogue with nature herself and earth, air, fire, and water. And as above, as we see in the celestials right now, and a lot of folks are talking about this, we're going to see a lot of miraculous things occurring in the celestials, and that was all foretold. And I think we're ready. I think we're very much ready for that. And one of the goals that I have right now, and that's why we're doing the archival work here, is to build these temples. And one of them I want to build in Sedona, Arizona. It's on
Oh,
a very,
wow.
very key ley line. So we're working towards, uh, bringing the awareness to the community, and they're ready. I just left meetings in Sedona a few weeks ago. They're ready to do this. We're looking for the land, and then those that are willing to build a cooperative together, because this isn't about one organization or an individual or myself. It's about cooperating together and working together to restore Sedona, Arizona in its own rights. Like it's a very touristy place, but at the same rights, it's on the ancestral trade routes of the travels and exchanges that took place for tens of thousands of years. And so we're much looking forward to those that would love to support in that way energetically through meditation, monetarily to build a center. And we're not looking for a big center. And we're working on a living library there, believe it or not, which will be coming more information in 2026, where a lot of these archives will be. So people can come from around the world to come learn and study and share and bring their research and development from their personal evolution of their gifts. And I find that each individual, man and woman, in their celestial birthright, in their natal charts, I take consultations, I look at those aspects, and we utilize them in the correct orbits through initiations or ceremonies, so that we can utilize those gifts and work together to utilize the talents that one may be bringing forth in a certain cycle of their lives, and in collaboration, and there's ceremonies that are done to implement that and to inspire people to have the courage and strength to do something of such, or work towards these temples of preservation.
Wow, that's like so exciting. Who are you working with in Sedona? The Hopi?
I work with many of the nations, correct. Yeah, I've worked, oh boy, probably close to nearing 30 years with the Hopi, Havasupai, the Dene, Yavapai Apache. We did some restoration work on a land. Actually, that's one of the lands we're looking at. They have a preserve in the middle, in the country, in the middle of Sedona, 150 acres. We are just praying that we can get that and help restore that and bring that back into like a cultural youth programs for them. And so the kids more than ever and the youth are needing the whether it's rope courses or ceremonial structure, getting off of uh some of the youth have fallen off their path,
Yeah.
what they've been born struggling with drugs and alcohol, I very much understand that path. I was involved with that for about 5 years as a teenager and went through that process and found a better way of life. So I love to help youth. But yeah, I'm working with many of the nations. We are putting together the gathering, the Eagle Quetzal Condor. Part on the flyer there, you see too. The eagle and condor, and that's the unification of the Americas, and that has to do with land, food, commerce, growing uh, good original seeds of origin with the original foods of the Americas. And so that's a big project to start getting greenhouses up and build our temples there in Sedona.
Wow, I'm just getting so excited. So I know that I do have a lot of friends, and in the spiritual community, we all love to help each other. And I know that I get called to go to Sedona every so often to whatever it is that my energy does. I don't know what it does, but anyway, I'm called to go places. And so do you have in any of your websites an area for volunteers, people that can come to help with the land or to build or to whatever it is that you need physically? Because people like to go to Sedona to visit. And my understanding is I'm supposed to go sometime in the future. I'm just waiting for word to whenever it is I'm supposed to go. But so in your website, like how can people find out about volunteering physically in any of the areas?
Right now, they can go to adamdearmon.com. And for those that are listening, I apologize. I haven't updated my website in several years. We're working on the web designer right now and to get the resources so we can update all the websites. And I can get you further more information on that. But the main one's adamdearmon.com. Send me an email and or book a free consultation, 15 minute consultation, and also take consultations 30 minutes or 1 hour, and then we can deep dive into that. I don't have a whole lot of details on the website at the moment, but we're going to be uploading all of this. If anyone wants to sponsor or help out, I've got my hands and boots on the ground nonstop. I've been working in so many areas, as you can imagine, but I need to be attentive at the top of the hour, right now, as we are here too, to get that so that I can get you more information on that. But I suggest that people reach out and call because everybody has a unique question. Like I'll book personalized retreats for families, individuals, or groups. I really help them make the experiences in Sedona or give them more information of our projects in person. So yes, please go to the website there, adamdearmon.com, and or send me an email.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, sending you emails if they're interested in coming and helping you, physically do some volunteer work.
We've got split wood, carry water. We're preparing for an amazing gathering, Eagle Quetzal Condor gathering, April 17th, 18th, and 19th, 2026. And then from there, we're moving to Illinois. We're going to be doing another gathering in Illinois with the grandmothers and grandfathers in Illinois, which I'll be having updates coming soon. And then we'll be working on our third gathering of the year and potentially fourth in the international arena. But I don't want to premature get that information out too much. But in the next few months, those events will be launched on my website, and we'll be sharing a lot more information. And again, my email is adam.dearmon@gmail.com. It's adam.dearmon@gmail.com. And then if you send me an email there, I'll get back to you and we can share so much information. If anyone wants to help with this archival project, which we've been really focusing on, and the living library, it'd be a great time to do that. And
What kind of So how can they help? Do they have to be like programmers, or do they have to know computers, or like what exactly? How can they help? Like
So
skills.
right now I have the folks that are basically the living library. Why I say that is because it's in movement. Like when we go to meet with these elders, it's living, it's in the prophetic prophecies, and it has spirit, essence, consciousness that we're literally transferring, whether it's a material thing or jump drives or presentations or the antiquities, the individuals that are working with the antiquities there. But we just, before I came down here, we do have a library that is going committed to store these in great safe in Sedona, which more information is going to be coming out. I can share more in the private sector, but there it will be public soon. So the in Sedona, we got that on moving right now, which I'm very, very excited. So we'll be able to take, you know, this information, store it there, have it protected, have it preserved, and have it so peoples from around the world can come to Sedona, come visit from the different nations and the original instructions from the peoples of origin. So that's there. And one way people can help is come out and help or volunteer for the events. I say the way I learned is sitting by the side of my elders and learning on a personal note, or come, we can book some sessions, and talk about that. Also, and monetarily, I think one of the biggest things right now is the monetary, so that we can get this, up and running and out to the public. I can get all the websites and things like that going for us all. And we're working on a new venture also, which has been around for since 2009, is called Peace Nations, Indigenous Peoples Grand Council of Peace, and a new website we just opened up, peacenations.com, and you'll just see a header place. They can go there, fill out some information. But like I said, once we get some more resources, we're launching everything at one time, over the next month or so here. So
Okay.
and hands-on is the best way. Like when I travel, if they want to come down here to join us here in Mexico, and or in my travels, we'd be honored for that to take place, and also in Sedona. I'll be back up in Sedona at the end of January, and we'll be looking forward to meeting folks if you want to come out to Sedona, also in preparation for the Eagle Quetzal Condor Unite gathering there.
So the gathering you said was the 17th, 18th, and 19th, was it, of April?
Correct. Yes. And then
Okay.
we'll be putting the schedule together, getting that to the public. We follow the Mayan calendar in that way, and we'll be giving the days and the intentions and the energies of the days. And one of the reasons we have chosen Sedona, like many come there, is because of all the ley lines and grids and the earth energies that are there by nature, and then also the energies that are moving through the vortexes like you see here, and how those are connected. We become like divine instruments. I call it like an acupuncture needle of our light and energy when we arrive at these different locations. And with consciousness and implementation and intention, we can really activate these certain sites and then reconnect them to our home regions also. So, and then giving back. So part of the work that I've done for the majority of my life is done a giveaway, not only of personal energies, times, and resources. And my elder said, "Well, now you're the elder. Now you have to be open to be able to receive that, so that you can continue the works of and all the efforts that have you done in your life, and in reciprocity for others that are coming, for for all of us. And this is part of the exchange we're building, which we'll have more information too. And that's why I had very much interest in the trades and the ports. I've been studying some of the ports, and there's just a lot of information I would love to share with individuals. We could sit here for hours discussing, but I do
Right.
have another
Good.
meeting in 15 minutes,
Yeah.
believe it or not, it's really exciting for me, to be here with both of you too. And whatever way that I can assist the greater awakening of our humanity, I'm just 100% in right now, all the way.
Beautiful. I am so grateful and thankful for the work that you are doing is so huge. And when I think about not only the American Indian tribes, but then I'm thinking of the Mayans. When I went to Guatemala, we went to a Mayan ceremony that I know it was put for us because it was just me and my friend that I was traveling with. And they were doing a funeral. And it was, I'm sure you've seen it where they do all the candles, like it's like
Yes.
these thin candles. And so we were allowed to be there, and I'm watching this. And so the guide is himself a Mayan, and telling us about how the government has just like literally came in and basically said, if you're not a Christian, you either, I don't remember if they were getting killed or getting out or their lives were being made really difficult. I can't remember the outcome of that, but
yes, that's real. It's a real situation. I get to sit in meetings with governing bodies. Like I said, my whole goal is not to bring opposition, is government and people united. And I am in processes and meetings where we're discussing about that and recognizing each other's roles. And what I've been told, interesting enough, by some very high up governing bodies, is that once we begin to take further responsibility and gather the consciousness of our relationship with our own governing bodies and internal systems, the external manifestation of the control of our systems and our governing bodies will change. And that has been key for my personal life. I have many experiences that I've had personally with external governing bodies and the systems where I've been able to transform it within inside of myself and completely change the outcome of my personal life and all those around me through the morphic field. And I tell you, I just got chills saying that. That's what I love to. That's what I love to consult people with. How do we attune ourselves to that? So if in anything this evening, that's it's been it's a true gift to be able to transfer that frequency or vibration even through technology, which, believe me, I spent many, many years where I could not even fathom or imagine being able to do that through our technological or Zooms or, like we are here today. But it does truly work, and we can do it remotely. And that's how I've been working tremendously amount, taking calls and meetings and consultations with remote healing. So I encourage you to all to reach out, and let's help one another.
So, Adam, one of the things that I teach people is the power of manifestation and how our imagination creates reality, how our thinking, our thoughts, our beliefs, all of that. But when you come together, it multiplies. So what coming to mind is, what if we were to put together specific meetups in Zoom or whatever, and we bring in all of the indigenous people that everybody that everybody that I know on my channel, possibly everybody from, that watches Dreaming the New Dream, And together collectively, we get together, I don't know, once a month or once every 2 weeks, whatever.
Yes.
And together we manifest and we have the same vision. And with our power, we will be able to manifest this a lot faster.
Yes, exactly. Yes, the collective consciousness, the morphic field. I've moved actually from a young man, very young man. I started training with some of my teachers, and it came through the celestials, and I saw the shifts and changes not only in our planet or with our humanity, but the celestials. And so what came to me is trans-celestial technologies. And that trans-celestial technologies or trans-celestial communications, um, all of that, let's say, resources or energies that we're seeking or exploiting is available to us more than ever right here and now. So I'm 100% with you on that. Like, we are fully accessible, and we can access that, and when we gather, it's going to be 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 fold. We can really transform things very quickly. Like I
Yeah.
said in the beginning, I've watched where a civilization, a culture has been completely destroyed. And I've been a part personally of this process, walking into a region that the governments were governing the bodies of that region and their systems were implemented, and the peoples of origin were removed. And within a year and a half, we brought back the peoples to their site. The land was relinquished back out of the hands of the governing bodies and the systems that were in control of that region, and the peoples themselves returned, and now they have left the land to rest, and they're beginning the awakening to allow others from around the world to begin to study these technologies and original instructions. And like I said, I've seen the rivers come back, the fish and the jaguar and the animals return back where a flourishing peoples are living now.
Yeah, absolutely. We are creators. We're here to be creators now. We're not here to be in survival mode anymore. We're here to start creating. And the way we create, like you said, is not fighting the system, but looking towards what we want to create. So it's not looking this way and giving them our energy, but the opposite, taking that energy and moving it to the place where we want to create. And so I think that would be definitely a way to fast track this and make it turbo. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you so that we can see how we can set this up and get started. I'm very excited about this. I'm sure you were sent to us for a reason, because I'm just feeling overjoyed with this information, and I'm sure I'll be part of whatever way I can help and volunteer. So
Yes.
very
We
excited.
really, not when I say we, it's not only myself, it's an honor, but it's the legacy of the elders that came before me and all of our teachers, my mother and father, our ancestors here, of each of our ancestors, because this wouldn't be possible without each of us here today or our listeners. And it's just a great honor. I felt the call to reach out again to my brother here. And, I'm just so appalled, and I'm receiving the transmissions right now that I think through these efforts and all the people that it touches and all the people that this touches and they touch, we're going to do it. This is why we've come here. Like I said, at the darkest hour, we have the greatest opportunity to shine the brightest and illuminate ourselves and the world around us. So illuminate your hearts, each and every one of you here. Hold that. And may I be a divine reflection and a mirror for each of you. And I look forward to meeting you all and continuing this dialogue. And hopefully we can come back on the show again. And yeah, this this has been really exciting for me to show up here this evening.
Wow, wonderful. I am so grateful. And Jeff, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask before Adam has to go?
There you go.
Did you want to? So you were asking about plant medicine. I don't know if we have time. We have 4 minutes.
I can go a few minutes over if need be. Yes.
Okay, so go ahead. We have a listener who's asking about talking about plant medicine. Is anything involved with plant medicine in what you do?
Yes. So, okay. So I've been around plant medicine since I was a child. I was raised by herbs and medicine instead of going to the Western doctors. Now, if I had to go to the Western doctors to get the checkups, then I would do so, but my family would implement herbs. I used herbals when I was a very young man. I was experimental with plant medicines, and with the initiations and with the meditations that I was having, I was able to work very diligently with these plant medicines. Like you see here, one of these medicines is peyote, and I've worked with the peoples of origin for many, many years with peyote and plant medicines from the desert all the way to the jungles to the high mountains. And I've spent my life dedicated to the preservation and cultivation of plant medicines. And actually, on my website, you might, as you're studying through there, I've been gone through prosecution 2 separate times in my life, and in both cases had all the charges dropped. And that's because of not only my consciousness, but the responsibility that I have in my life and for those around me, and the initiations that I've done, and also working in complementarity with the governments and governing bodies, county, state, city, and governments around me to implement the legal parameters around working with plant medicines. But again, I work directly with each medicine would have the lineage or the laws of origin with these medicines. So I do in return help people. I consult people with that and help guide them to the appropriate ceremonies. Or we have ceremonials that we put on as initiation processes. But I like to work with individuals for a while prior to working with these plant medicines. It's very important all the way from the jungle to the deserts that some of these plant medicines are somewhat endangered or been exploited, or the pharmaceutical companies are after them now. So for 25 years I've been cultivating and preserving them, and I have a whole project on that. Usually people contact me personally, so if people want to get involved in the cultivation and preservation, they can do so also with that. Or if you have any other questions while we're here, I got a few more minutes on that, but I've spent my whole life around working with herbs and plant medicines.
Wow. Yeah, we definitely, I mean, there's so much to talk about, really. I mean, plant medicine alone could be several shows.
Yes.
Really. It's just, there's so much to that. There's so much to that connection. So I would say we probably can bring you back and have more conversations about this. And
Yeah.
so that way you can go and be on time for your meeting. And
Yes.
Jeff, is there anything else that you want to ask?
No, thank you very much, Adam. It's been a pleasure to have you back.
Yes, true honor. I'm really feeling it in every cell of my body. And actually, interesting you brought it up about the plant medicines. The next conversation, next meeting, 1 hour meeting I'll be going on, we'll be talking about the plant medicines and helping bring further awareness and the understanding of legalization with the appropriate formalities, law and order that is carried forth with that, and the responsibilities of doing so. So again, if you want to help in that area, those that are listening, go to my website, adamdearmon.com, or email me at adam.dearmon@gmail.com. And I'd encourage you to book a consultation, and we can dive deep into the whole topics, and we can go from there. So thank you so much for a beautiful evening. And I look forward to the next show we get to do together.
All right. Thank you, Adam, so much. It was just really, truly an honor and a pleasure meeting you. And I can't wait to have more conversations in the future.
Yes. Have a blessed evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.